Take a risk. Take a chance. What do you have to lose? Taking a chance on something new or different is part of the excitement of living. A new challenge often puts a twinkle in our eye and a spring in our step. We feel alive. But what if you're never given the chance to try something new? Or if you fail just once at something challenging, you're never given another chance to try. People with disabilities, like everyone else, want to be afforded the dignity of determining their own destiny. Sometimes that involves taking a risk. In this video, you'll meet 3 people who took a risk and, in doing so, achieved the dignity that often comes with meeting a challenge head-on.
I had open heart surgery, and with that, I was confined to a nursing home. I didn't know the horrors of a nursing home, but after 2 years and me being partially healed, luckily I found Miss Lori Pillow.
Mr. Cornelius was referred to the Advocacy Center. He had an issue concerning the management of his money. Nursing home ownership changed, and the new ownership decided to submit something to Social Security saying that Mr. Cornelius needed a representative payee to handle his money, so the nursing home took over control. We went to Social Security and got that issue taken control of so that he could regain control over his finances.
The Advocacy Center came into my life at a time when I had no real good outlook. The nursing home was keeping me confined, not letting me know, that there was any hope.
I started to talk with him about how he felt in terms of being in a nursing home, and was that his preference. And as it turned out, Mr. Cornelius had not been told, as he should have been, that there was any choice. The nursing homes are required to tell people that there are community-based services.
They helped me from being treated less than a human. Without them, I would have never gotten to this point.
There are people, state employees, support coordination people, who are supposed to help you find housing. Mr. Cornelius found his housing.
Luckily now, I'm out of the nursing home with a place of my own. 49 years old, so I still have aspirations of living a normal life.
It started off where my son was diagnosed with autism. We're not sure the level he was on the spectrum, but they gave a full diagnosis of autism. Through the years, behavioral issues started occurring where he would scream, hit, scratch, just attack in general. We couldn't figure out what was going on. Has full speech. He could not read or write though.
When the mother came to me, she was really concerned because her son, who's in early high school and has autism, was at the point where he wasn't getting an education, and not even just that, but she was worried for his safety at school. Because of his autism, he has some challenging behaviors. Despite that, though, they did not have a plan in place to deal with those behaviors, and because of that, he was coming home injured, and there also really had been no academic progress. We're talking about a kid who was barely at the point of being able to write his own name.
All his therapy services that he was supposed to receive or that he was receiving would label him as a sweet, innocent child, but then you'd hear from the teachers how he was this aggressor. They were using words like he would just attack, and he's an aggressor, and he does this, and he's intentionally doing this when that's not how he is. And come to find out, they were the reasons behind what he was doing. He was merely defending himself.
We worked with the school, trying to work with the program they had. They were refusing to have someone one-on-one with him. This is a child who needs that sort of direct attention. Finally, it got to the point where we had to threaten to place him in a private school and go to court to have the school district pay for it. At that point, they moved him to a much smaller school with different staff and actually got him an individualized teacher.
He just now is able to know what an adjective, a verb, a noun, and so on is for. He can count past 10. He's learning the value of money, and he understands money now.
At this point, he went from a child who had never had a friend. He now has 3 friends at school.
Just imagine how many more people it's happening to that don't know their rights, that don't know that there's a place that they can go to and get help. That's why I love the Advocacy Center.
By being a project player to C5, C6, people don't realize it's a form of incarceration as it is already. So I don't need to be incarcerated again by being put in a nursing home. So that's why I feel that doing self-direction would help me and will help a lot of people.
Because his needs are so great, he gets the maximum amount of services that are allowed. And you can only get the maximum amount of services if your situation is very demanding.
I feel that I have more control of my life by having self-direction. In a nursing home setting, there's strictly guidelines. And those guidelines you have to go by. You don't have as much freedom.
We let him know, one, that this was a possibility, because nobody else had let him know that. So we told him that by self-directing, he could get more hours. And so I talked to him about that, and he said, well, I'm all for that. I can do that. This is no problem. And then the other thing we did was try to help train the people who had to do the work to make this happen.
I've been injured 30 years, and I think by me being homebound has helped my life expectation. Because I'm comfortable. I'm not a doctor of science, but I know how I feel.
The biggest risk he takes is he's responsible for hiring his own workers. He's responsible for his backup plan. So if his worker doesn't show up for, even if it's for a good reason, if they have a car accident or their child's really sick or, for any reason, he has to make sure that he has somebody else who he can call, who can come in.
And I think if local, state, and federal will make them aware of the Advocacy Center, then more people will know how to access a lot of stuff that's available for them. And I definitely take my hat off to people at the Advocacy Center because they work so hard. And just people don't know what they do.
You've heard 3 stories about remarkable people who were not content with the status quo. They took a risk and achieved the dignity that comes with facing a challenge and conquering it.